What's going on, everybody? Welcome. How are you doing today? The updates just keep rolling in for this case, and it's absolute insanity. I'm going to let people start getting in here, and we have some very important things to address. It's absolutely insane. So we got 208 people in here. I'd like you to put a 1 in the chat if you saw my live stream from yesterday where it was captioned, "I was assaulted." Put a 2 if you have not. A lot of people have, some people haven't. Let me break it down to you. I was at the Townsend Town Hall yesterday, and I was conducting an investigation. Okay. Now, this investigation is a brand new issue of corruption, crime, you name it, it's happening there. Interestingly enough, and reversely, 2 years ago, I moved to Townsend. I lived there for a year, and myself and a lady named Real Deal Around Town took down the select board. Of 3 members when we were done, there were only 2 remaining. Now we get this huge update. Before I started my stream, I was speaking with Real Deal Around Town. Now, yesterday during, there might be a phone call coming in from the police department. I'm going to have to work with them. I'm actively working with them, and I'll tell you why. Yesterday, I was doing my investigation. There was a gentleman who works there. That gentleman saw me filming him. He did not like being filmed. I was very nice about it. I asked him, "Are you aware what's going on in town?" Blah, blah, blah. He said, no comment. And so as I'm walking down the stairs behind him, he says, "Are you following me?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm walking down the stairs. I'm headed to the clerk's office." He turns around, squares up on me, starts screaming, real aggressive. The police wound up showing up, and I declined to pursue charges. I declined to pursue charges for a few reasons. Number one, he is a retired military veteran. A lot of you are going to say there's no excuses. This guy has PTSD. He has both visible and invisible wounds that he suffered in the defense of our freedom, our flag, our democracy for this republic. So in exchange for an apology, I decided to not pursue charges against that man. And I still feel that that was the right decision. Police officers have discretion. So do I. Our vets serve overseas and they come back with lasting injuries. Some we can see, most we cannot. And the very least I can do as a grateful American on behalf of a grateful family living in my household is cut him some slack and not press charges. The guy was in the wrong. He admitted he was in the wrong. He apologized. That's the least I can do. Story doesn't end there. Today, this man shows up to work. Someone calls him. Now, from what I'm understanding, they were talking in the first person, like, "You did this to me." What I think, from what I'm understanding, is this person was pretending to be me. I don't know the lengths of what happened, what was said to him. It sounds like a threatening phone call took place. We don't condone violence. This is the first channel that will tell you we speak with our words, not with our fists. That's how we get stuff done. I will be working with the police tirelessly to figure out who it was that threatened this man. I'm told he had to leave work. He had a meeting tonight he was going to be presenting at that he is no longer going to be presenting at. The police had to respond to town hall. This is all secondhand information that I'm getting. So I put in a call to the police department, and I'm going to be working with them to figure out who it was that did this. And just so you know, for the idiots out there, if you called on a block number or something, thinking that you weren't going to be traced, it's very easy to look up block numbers, reverse trace calls, and get warrants. We don't threaten people. That man defended his country. Okay? I don't agree with the way that he behaved. I don't think he at that moment agreed with the way he behaved. But not everyone can think rationally after they've seen the wounds of war. So whoever did that and whoever called that man, shame. Now, you might be asking why we were at town hall. What's this crazy case? So before we tell you while we were there this time, I'm going to play a clip for you of why we were there last time. So the first time I met Real Deal Around Town was last year when we worked on a story together. So this was the video I posted a year ago. Mayor fired for being a danger to the public. Sink in, enjoy, and then we'll give you an update as to why we're there now. And if there are interruptions, it's because I'm taking an important phone call. And per the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Department of Public Health, Bureau of Substance and Addiction Services, is this something you want from your public official? Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. This is per the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is literally per their investigation. Your selectman, your chair of the select board, Chaz Duranian, and I quote, is an immediate and serious threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. So
the facility submitted their internal investigation incident report with the required notification to the department. The facility's internal investigation corroborated multiple reports by residents and staff of inappropriate sexual behavior, sexual harassment, abuse, bullying, and intimidation by respondent, who is Chaz.
Imagine being this person with nothing, nobody. They've been fighting, asking for help, and finally they decided they were not going to give in to their addiction because their addiction didn't define them. And then in their most vulnerable hour, this person whose job, the same job as he holds here to protect and defend this community, was to protect, defend, and counsel this patient. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised after this video releases on either of our channels if law enforcement is not going to take interest in this and start investigating.
Yeah.
But it's bad in his face that he's doing this to someone in his professional capacity, in his day job. He intermingles his day job and his city job. Resident A reported that Chaz transported him in Chaz's personal vehicle to City Hall to help with program expansion due to resident A having an engineering degree. The same resident indicated that Chaz gave him the option to perform sexual acts of touching or get kicked off the program. Staff reported that they observed resident A's behavior change after the trip to City Hall with respondent. A case manager reported that Chaz stated that, "I need you to help me find dirt on resident A to get him out of here." So now Chaz is going after resident B and trying to set resident B up to go after resident A because resident B might just turn up to be the same as resident A.
He went to his staff, the people that worked for him.
Yeah.
So he coerced his staff for fear of their job to not.
And while this is playing, to give people some context, here's what's going down. There's a select board member, and his name is Chaz Sexton Duranian. The Real Deal Around Town, I ran against this guy, and his first endeavor with the ethics committee was when they investigated him for violating state and local election laws. Okay, so this guy's in office, and Real Deal Around Town finds through a record request that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has classified this guy as a danger. So he works as the select board chair, basically a mayor, the highest officer in all the land. So this guy is working a separate job, his day job, through Catholic Charities, where he works at an addiction housing center. So what he was doing is he was taking people, parolees, people that were on probation, people that had nothing, very vulnerable, required assistance. And he was saying, "You're going to give me sexual favors, or I'm going to have you arrested by your parole officer and sent back to jail." He went so far as to take them into City Hall. He went so far as to take them to the boiler room of the fire department where he kept his Vaseline. He did most of this in front of staff, and when staff caught him, he tried turning it on them. We took this guy down. He doesn't work there. Let's continue to watch the update.
Now, use more power and control
To try and cover it up.
to get rid of resident A. And resident A, he's one of the reporters. He may be the first resident.
According to resident B, upon learning the location of resident B's bed in an adjacent sober house, Chaz stated, "Good, now I can snuggle up with you." Staff reported being uncomfortable with Chaz putting his arm around them and rubbing their arm. So the staff is observing this behavior and they're speaking out.
Yep.
This is multiple staff. Multiple staff and residents reported that Chaz referred to them as sexy and handsome, and staff and residents reported feeling uncomfortable. Staff reported that Chaz made comments indicating he needed assistance going to the bathroom. Staff indicated this made them feel weird and disgusting. Staff reported observing respondents sitting too close to a resident on the couch and that the resident appeared uncomfortable. We want to talk about the staff, right? Staff reported that Chaz indicated that he could see their emails and chastised staff for speaking to the facilities director of residential services and chief operating officer about his behavior. So now the staff is seeing what Chaz is doing. They're watching the behavior continue and worsen. And now they're speaking up. And Chaz is telling them, "I can read all your emails, and if you tell anybody how I've been abusing these poor people, then I'm coming after you." In his job outside of the town, he's now bringing in to town business. Staff reported that when they asked Chaz if they should give the fire department a tour of the facility during an upcoming visit, Chaz's response was, "No, I'll do it, and we'll start in the boiler room, where I keep my Vaseline." Staff perceived this comment as sexually inappropriate. On October 2023, multiple staff confirmed that Chaz ordered them to strip search a client due to a suspicion of possession of drugs. Staff reported not thinking the strip search was right, but failed to report the incident due to fear of retaliation. The facility reported that based on the significant number of corroborated allegations and inappropriate sexual behavior, and after reviewing the response given by Chaz, the decision was made to terminate Chaz as program director of that facility. Cindy is a former select board member in Townsend, Massachusetts, the same town where I ran for select board. And the person I ran against, Chaz Sexton Duranian. He cheated his way to victory. In fact, we were able to prove that he violated local and state election laws. He was even reported to the state election board.
All right, so a gentleman was supposed to come and measure for us. He was supposed to do it yesterday. He brought the tape, but he didn't have time. And he was supposed to come this afternoon, and Kathy said she hasn't seen him yet.
Perfect. And so what is can I get a copy of his state certification as a licensed and registered engineer certified through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
I'm not sure if he has that, but I will ask. Hold on.
What does he do? Does he work for the town?
No, he doesn't work for the town.
But a person that doesn't even work for the town, that has probably no license or credentials, is just going to show up with a tape measure and see how it looks. Let me ask you another question. Is that the same gentleman that was passing out stickers asking for him to be voted for conservation?
Not Conservation, Board of Health,
Board
I
of
believe.
Health.
Yes.
So it's the same guy that was
I believe so, yes.
that was also soliciting votes at the door when I walked in.
Was he soliciting votes at the door?
Well, it's on the video. Did he get voted? And he stole that election. Do you think it should be reversed as a taxpayer?
Yeah, I definitely think we should maybe even rehold the election if...
The sign was moved.
Oh, jeez.
But when I'm saying I'm running for council, for select board, because these problems exist, and then all of a sudden you got a guy removing, what was it called?
There's always a red pole marker sign It's like it looks like a campaign sign, just two little things to stick in the ground.
So where it was is not there anymore, and then he set up shop where he wanted.
Yeah, that's concerning because I know for a fact she puts them out.
And I can tell you, and it can't be said that it's something that was removed afterwards, because I show you a live video first thing in the morning at 10 a.m. from that day. 50 yards would have been right here, okay? So I'm going to walk 50 yards. Now I'm going to be right in the middle of the street, which is not a safe place to go. So are we saying, Jess, that if this is the pole marker, like we said before, and it goes to the curtilage, that anything this side of me would not fall in that footage and would violate those laws? And then the guy that was running against me is way up there. So from what you're looking at now, it doesn't look good, does it?
Not from my perspective.
There were a lot of people that had reached out to me and said things need to be the way that they were. And I had an issue that happened to my kid, and I decided that I wanted to help and see if I could put things back, sit in my position for 3 years, allow some more people to see that it's possible and not be scared about running, because that was the big thing. People were scared about going up against the machine and the fallback and the retaliation for going against the machine. But then people will see that it's okay to do it.
People don't like change.
People don't like change, but
change is hard.
When you cheat and you steal, that's the whole, you're not helping yourself.
That's pretty serious.
You're proving the whole reason why I ran.
Cindy was aware who I was, but I wasn't aware of her, or the insane information that she dug up on this crooked politician. In fact, once she got this information, she showed up to select board meetings and started filming, only to be threatened by Chaz and other selectman Joe Shank.
Of all people, you should know about someone being shanked. Of all people, you should know about someone being shanked.
And that wasn't Selectman Joe Shank's first time in the spotlight acting unprofessional and crazy. This is how he behaved with me.
Sir, you're very unprofessional.
Huh?
You're very unprofessional. If you want to be... Stick your camera up your
So I'm unprofessional, but you have one selectman backing another selectman, because he wanted to tell me I wasn't professional. He wanted to cuss me out too, right? But it's okay for him to do it, not for me to do it.
Now, chair of the select board, Chaz Sexton Duranian, has been so disgusting, unprofessional, and downright deplorable that the state took his license and said that he was a danger to public safety and welfare. But take a look what he has to say to Cindy for simply recording him.
And I can say that it is absolutely deplorable as a former selectman that you are putting things on to go against the town.
Now, I find it interesting that Chaz Sexton Duranian would find it deplorable that she is calling him out because it goes against the town. What goes against the town, Chaz, is your defiance of the public trust. Abusing people at your day job where you're supposed to counsel the most vulnerable members of society. Bringing them to City Hall and demanding that they perform certain acts on you. And if they don't, they'll be without a place to live. And any staff member at his private job or public staff member at City Hall speaks out against him, well, they're going to get the axe. Cindy notices that Chaz's LinkedIn page is gone. And that's weird for a guy that loves to brag about himself to get rid of all of his bragging rights. So she did a records request. Make sure to check out Cindy. Her YouTube channel name is The Real Deal Around Town. R-E-E-L. The Real Deal Around Town. Tell her AFA sent you. Let's jump into this one. Hey everybody. And as you can see, I'm in a public easement right now. But behind me is the home of Select Board Chair Chaz Sexton Duranian. Now I ran against him in a recent election, and we were able to prove that he cheated his way to victory. In fact, the State Elections Committee actually investigated it. But that's not why we're here today. We're here today because the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has said that Duranian is an immediate and serious threat to public health, safety, or welfare. That's because as a program director in his private capacity, he violated people's trust and abused the very folks that he was supposed to counsel. The things he did were incredible, and they were so disgusting that the state wound up terminating his license, and the company he worked for fired him. And he's been hiding it from the town for months. And he connected his personal business with the town when he started abusing the very people he was supposed to help when he brought them to town to work in exchange for performing certain acts. This house and property may seem quite unassuming. In fact, on its outside, it would give you no inclination to the monster that lurks inside. The monster that is Townsend Select Board Chair Chaz Sexton Duranian.
I said, I'm sorry. And I walked over there, I said, I'm sorry. I mean, they know about this. And I said, I'm sorry. And Jessica's like, why are you saying you're sorry? Because I never do that. I said, you know I love you guys, right?
Okay, so that was what happened last year. Okay, there's a lot that's been going on. Show you this from the real deal around town.
If you haven't heard, Townsend had a First Amendment audit. Yes, they did. Town Hall was buzzing this afternoon when Josh Abrams of Accountability for All paid a visit. If you haven't heard, Townsend had.
So this is her channel, okay? And that's not the only video we have as far as Townsend goes. What you need to do is you need to subscribe to The Real Deal Around Town. She is fantastic. She does excellent work. And you know, we wouldn't be finding any of the things that we are finding without her. Now, that brings me to today. Something happened very recently. Give me 1 second. I want to see if I can pull this up here. Hold on, bear with me. Okay. Yeah, I was not able to. There was something I wanted to pull up for you. I wasn't able to find it. So everyone go subscribe to her. Moving forward, we wipe out the select board. Gone. 2/3 of it gone. 2 of the 3 select people gone. You have Chaz Sexton Duranian gone and Joe Shank, the guy that was backing him. Now, Joe Shank's a big business owner, and that's how this small town works, okay? It works by having people. I get this queued up for you here. It works by power perpetuating. Let me pull up my live stream from yesterday. It works by power perpetuating. So now she reaches out to me with this crazy, crazy story. And this crazy story is this. You have a water, the water superintendent is going to be doing bids for a big, huge, multi-million-dollar water project. So how does that work, folks? What happens is the engineer and the water superintendent mock up what they're looking for, what they're looking to have done, the specific work they're looking to have done. And then at some point, they release it to the public. All of the public gets it at once, and all the different contractors get to bid on this job. Well, the water superintendent, David, released that information months before it was ever released for other bidders. A contractor by the name of Gary Shepard, is now looking at this information. So the water superintendent is sharing all the schematics, all that stuff with this contractor, Gary Shepard, out of Townsend. He owns Shepco, Cherry Hill Ice Cream, a whole bunch of businesses in town. In fact, in 2007, when the recession hit, people were getting their homes foreclosed on left and right. This guy was buying up everyone's property, wound up making a killing on it. So he's working with David, the superintendent, the water department. So then when the bids are actually made public, Gary Shepard's already secured it. The interesting part is Gary Shepard is also the chief of the fire department. You got that right. The fire chief, with an extremely sordid history, was working with the superintendent from the water department. And my investigation reveals some very certain things, and it's looking like David's not the bad guy. It's looking like, per my investigation, David was using the fire chief, because he owns 3/4 of the town and most of its construction, as a resource. Like, hey man, this water department guy just got a $30 million water treatment building for free through grants, zero money to the taxpayers. Last year, it was voted that Townsend had the best and safest water in all of New England. He was today at a award ceremony accepting an award for, again, I'm not sure if he won it, but he was up for winning that same award, having the best and safest water in New England. So this guy, not knowing the devil that he's dealing with, is leaning on the fire chief because of this big construction company that he owns. You know, hey, can you help me out? I want to save the taxpayers as much money as possible. What do we do here? And of course, the fire chief loves it. I think you should do this, 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 and this. We should do this. You should do that. And when it comes time for the bids to be made available, legally speaking, David's already had a trusting relationship with Gary Shepard, the fire chief. He already feels safe. And he's like, you know what? This guy's trustworthy. I've been sharing all this information with him. He's helped me make, this is my estimation from my investigation. Why not just go with him? And Gary Shepard secured a $4.1 million awarded contract. Now, is David without fault? Absolutely not. He should have contacted the ethics committee and been like, hey, is there some conflict of interest? Can I award a bid to somebody who's known about it months before it's ever been made public? But I don't think he knew to do that. Like this, there's ignorant, there's malicious, and then there's just not knowing. And this guy just didn't know. And the difference is David has been professing his innocence from day one. He's been willing to talk to anyone who will listen about his innocence. Meanwhile, a couple weeks ago, Shepard wound up, pleading out and paying his fine, but not before one of the other bidders who realistically should have gotten this contract sued Townsend for just over $1 million. $1 million for the taxpayers to foot. A town where the taxpayers, I used to live there, you're paying $1,000 a month for your electricity and your gas through Unitil. Okay. I exposed that scam when I was living in Townsend. Less the cost. So just your heat, electricity, and your rent for an 850 square foot home, you're looking at easily $3,000 a month. And every single time the town doesn't have the money, override. I mean, they're still paying money on infrastructure on a building that was built 20 years ago. They're 20 years late on their payment, and they're still not paying towards their principal. They're paying the minimum monthly payment. So the taxpayers are going to be paying this forever. I mean, you name it, they do it. You have to pay an exorbitant amount of money if you want to have your trash taken with these purple trash bags. This town is in it to win it. I found a lot about Gary Shepard out. He also doesn't like to be told no. You know what I'm saying? Someone tells him no, I don't want to do that. Yes, you do. This fire chief, in my estimation, in my investigation, is corrupt as the day is long. So this brings me to sit with the real deal around town. I went everywhere yesterday. I went to the fire department so he could hide from me. I went to the water department where they were very open to talking to me. I'm being told David's still open to talking to me. Had some scheduled conflicts today, but I mean, he seems to be willing to talk about it. Gary Shepard, the fire chief, I mean, what kind of shitbag does that? A town official looks at the greatest modern recession we've had and says, instead of taking my massive wealth and chipping away and helping some of these families keep their homes, I'm going to buy them all up. I'm going to knock them down. I'm going to sell them at a profit. And I'm going to leave all those families that I'm serving as a fire chief homeless and without fucking anything. So I went to the town hall to ask some questions, to get answers to my questions, and to find out more about what's going on. And that's where I ran into this gentleman here who did assault me. It's not assault and battery. It's a simple assault. The guy didn't put his hands on me. Now, I'm not going to show you that. This video is going to drop tomorrow. This is the live stream where I gave him the opportunity to apologize. So I'll show that to you.
No, yeah, I'm here. So that's how you know. If it wasn't me, I'm with you.
Hey, I'm sorry I overreacted a little bit,
Okay.
but you did make me feel like I was being threatened. You know, walking up behind it, that's one good way to get someone with PTSD to react, okay?
Did you serve in the military?
Yes, I did.
Thank you for your
And
service.
that doesn't matter.
I'm not saying it does.
Your
I'm-
actions following me downstairs provoked that.
No, so we'll leave it at this, right? Or you know where I'm going with this. I accept your apology. I thank you for your service. I wish to not pursue criminal charges against you. For the record, okay, I met you when we were face to face walking out of your office. I never once raised my voice to you. And while we were walking down the stairs, I went back and
You don't
reviewed the
have to raise
footage.
your voice to
There were
threaten.
Right. There were 3 steps behind us, and at no time did I say any fighting words. I didn't even cuss at you. I just asked you questions to what you said, no comment. You said, are you going to continue filming me and asking me questions?
As if you were
And I
going to
said,
continue following.
yeah. I said, yes, I'm walking down these stairs. My intention was at that point to come here and do a records request to ask what your name was and your salary when you turn around and squared up on me. I've broken no laws, and I appreciate the sacrifice you made to a grateful nation. And
Okay,
because
you may
of
have not
that,
broken any laws.
because of that, I'm going to let it be this. That's all. I appreciate your time. Thank
Yeah.
you. And to all the people that, yeah, well.
Now, Townsend PD is fantastic. I had a little bit of a bumpy start with one of their officers. But I mean, every single cop showed up there, shook my hand, was happy to see me. If you guys go back and watch a live stream, it's called I Was Assaulted. You can watch their professionalism. Officer Marchand, Sergeant Reedy, real good folks at this department. And I was able to live there, okay, with them under my 365 microscope. And they are a good department. Now, that man that you just saw on screen, this war veteran, okay, and he doesn't like to make a big deal of his service or whatever. And a lot of you to the right on your screen there, a lot of you want to say, hey, Josh, you know, you shouldn't have let him off just because he was a veteran. And I say, if cops have discretion, so the fuck do I. There's wounds I can see from this man, and there are a multitude of wounds I cannot see. You know, does that give him the right to square up on me? No. But this guy has suffered PTSD because of his service to this nation. He is still working at a basic volunteer capacity. All right. He's not raking it in the land use office. Okay. He ran to get that office. He had a bad day. And I'm sure he had a lot of bad days when he was in the military. Okay. This wasn't a desk jockey in the military. This guy was out there doing some shit. And regardless of what you did in the military, if you fixed tires or you served food, you still did your part. You're a cog in the works to make freedom ring and that flag fucking wave. And I appreciate it. Okay. And somebody called this guy today, speaking in the first person. So I don't know if they were trying to pretend they were me or what have you. And it sounds from, because I didn't talk to this guy. I only found out about this right before the stream started from Real Deal Around Town, that this guy got a phone call saying they were going to do something to him, or if he did that again, they would do something. And this guy left work all upset. He was supposed to be presenting at a meeting tonight. He was unable to do that because of some fucking coward hiding behind a fucking phone. I'm working with the Townsend Police Department. And whoever this fucking idiot is that called this guy, I hope you didn't block your number. But if you did, that doesn't do anything, right? Like, you can reverse trace a phone number without being a cop. Being a police officer and having access to LEO databases makes it significantly easier to find somebody's phone number, to figure out who called. And I hope that person, for threatening somebody or whatever it was they did say, a member of our armed forces, I hope they suffer the fullest extent and wrath of the law and the justice system. This is why we do have police, for things like this. This guy didn't deserve to go to jail, in my view. I didn't want to press charges. Could I have sent him? The police admit I could have sent him. What would that have done? He didn't know. He had a bad day. We all have bad days. All right. This country has exploded in violence because people are afraid to use their mouth. Okay. I use my mouth all day, every day. And I've yet, against a public official, police officer, citizen, in any of these audits, whoever, I've never had someone outdo me with words. I've never had someone be better at tongue fu or verbal judo than myself. Someday it'll happen. Hadn't happened yet. And I've never needed to use my fist. Someone did about 4 or 5 years ago, put their hands on me once. And I made a very clear example of that person. And no one's put their hands on me since. When we can't use our words and we have to resort to violence, we're showing how uneducated we are. We're showing how barbaric we are. We're showing our fear of change. Change is imminent, as is evolution. We as a people are going to continue to change. We are going to continue to evolve. And we have to grow with that. I mean, Charlie Kirk, all the stuff that's going on, people are afraid to talk. 300 years ago plus, this nation was born and birthed off the spirit of resistance. We tried to talk it out. At the Continental Congress, we tried to talk it out. Okay, with our neighbors, we tried to talk it out. Sending delegations to King George's court, we tried to talk it out. Talking didn't work. We had to revert to force defense, not offense, but defense. We use force to defend ourselves and our inalienable rights over a 2% T-tax and the right to be secure, to have no taxation without representation. We are not in a place now where we need to use force, okay? And people out there that are using force or threats because their words can't carry the day, it is a sad, sad place. My heart goes out to Colby. Not everyone in my audits always has the best day, folks. Some people that appear in my videos are having a good day. Sometimes that good day ends and it becomes a bad day after they meet me. Sometimes they're having a bad day and they meet me, they have a good day. They're judged by that moment, not for an eternity. And they certainly, as a member of our armed forces, deserve to, after an audit, to be treated with dignity. Like, we don't call up these people and blast them with phone calls. Like, we want to redress our grievances. If you have a problem, if someone does something bad, you want to redress, file a formal complaint, do that. But we don't call people and threaten them. That's what we're fighting against. We're about fighting tyranny and fighting oppression. So reversely, now some people are deciding that in the name of, fighting oppression, we should use force to intimidate others. It's an oxymoron. To be free, we have to oppress others. It makes no sense. Colby, if you're watching this, man, my heart goes out to you, and I don't give a fuck who's in this chat. We all thank you for your service. You had a bad day. That does not define you. Your lifetime, your service to your country, your service to your community defines you. Everyone I've spoken to in Townsend has nothing but positive things to say about you. He's also one of the ones that are standing up against this bullshit backroom deal that's going on. Because he had a bad day with me does not make him a social fucking pariah. It does not mean he's against freedom, or he went back on the oath that he made when he raised his right hand, put his left in a Bible, and said, I swear to defend the United States of America and its Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I want everyone in this chat show Colby a little bit of love. I heard he's having a tough night tonight from the Real Deal Around Town. Thank him for his service in the chat. I mean, this is not the America. Lynn Harris, hi Josh and Anna, much love. I'm asking chat war 5 cents to. I don't know what that means. 5 cents to what? And some people are going to say no, they're not going to thank him. Some people will. John Denicola, Uneasy Rider, Daryl, Anthony, USA Badass, my wife, Banana Rana. What I just do, I gave the haters right now in this moment, look at this fucking chat. Look at this. Look at this. What is this? What is this? What's going on? This is a masterclass in fucking democracy. I had a disagreement with this man. For a moment, he acted like he was going to use force against me. At the end of the day, I did not have armed men put him in handcuffs. I was able to have a discourse with him. Some of you might not like his genuinity with his apology, but he did all the same. He apologized. We talked it out. That's democracy. That's how this republic is supposed to work, where he and I can have a disagreement about something either fundamental or non-fundamental. And we can still, at the end of the day, agree to disagree and thank someone for their service. Some coward is threatening this man. I'm truly at a loss for words. The Townsend PD knew it wasn't me that called this guy. They got my number. But there's only two reasons someone tried to do this. They made that call, and I don't know exactly what was said because I'm hearing it third hand from someone who heard it first or second hand. So it's like, I don't know exactly what was said. But they did it for one or two reasons. They either did it to try and get me hemmed up, to pretend they were me and get me hemmed up, or they're a fan of mine and they didn't like how this guy behaved, so they wanted to scare the shit out of him. Neither is sufficient. I don't care what any of you guys says. This dude on the right served our military. He has invisible wounds. He's a goddamn fucking hero. He's allowed to have a bad day. I have a bad day sometimes, and you guys excuse me. we're only divided by ourselves. Okay, there's no like grand conspiracy that is causing division in the United States of America. Okay, we have to look within ourselves and understand that deep down there is something that is causing us to not take that step, to not reach out our hand, to not embrace freedom. There's something within us, whether it's us have being wronged in the past, or us not liking somebody, or us not wanting to talk about what somebody else did. Jason says, what about the backroom $4 million deal? Jason, my full video is going to be dropping tomorrow covering all that. It's a 2.5 hour video. I mean, I dug up everything, not by myself, with the help of the real deal around town. In fact, she is really the one that brings it to light. She finds it and she brings it to me, and we work together to getting it out there to the masses. We should always look inward before we blame outward. Other people don't get judged by our hangups. Okay. And it's just one of those things. The police did a good job that day. Colby didn't do a great job, then he apologized. The system can work, but we're the first to blame others that it is faulty and unrepairable. And we just leave it at that because we don't want to be responsible for owning any of those responsibilities, right? Like post 9/11, we were all like, all right, well, I'll give up my guns. Like there are a couple states, I'm not sure if you knew, that did gun buybacks recently within the last year. They did gun buybacks to get them off the street, and then they sent them overseas. We like to give our freedom away for safety and security. Safety and security is this beautiful thing, right? Those who would sacrifice essential liberty for temporary security deserve neither safety nor security. If you give up a little now to feel a little bit more safe, you're chipping away at everybody's freedoms. I don't care if I don't like you. I thought 2017 was bad when I started this. People are giving up their rights more and more every day. And then they say, well, Josh, I'll give up my rights for this. It's just, I don't want to take that hit. I got to bring my kids to soccer practice, or, I don't want to be late for work. So it's not worth it to get out of my car and film this traffic stop. Every time you do something like that, you chip away. And I'm guilty of it too. A couple days ago, I had a place to be. I saw a traffic stop on the side of the road, and I looked at the clock, and I kept driving. Now, I assume the guy's fine. It was a younger dude. I assume he was fine. They didn't have him out of the car. And then I realized that I had made a mistake. I gave back some of my freedom. I gave back some of our freedom because it's a constant battle, right? That was my bad. And I had to go to sleep that night knowing that if something went down, I could have been there, and I wasn't, because I had some place to be. I had temporary safety, temporary security, while that man's essential liberty was at risk. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. This community saved my life. It pulled me off the streets. It gave me purpose. It got me clean. I was going to do some big video about it. We got number 41. Stephen Crane, the town manager over in Ipswich. telling me I wasn't allowed to record in the office, even though he admitted the office was open to the public, blah, 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 blah. The town was so bullshit about what he did that they went and got a petition going because of his behavior. And they gave a vote of no contest. And he was forced to resign and then go to the private sector. And now we're doing our best to get him fired from his private sector job. So basically, 40 and 41 are the same person. We live in an insane world right now. And none of us can do this alone. Pay apps are pinned to the top of the chat if anyone wants to help out. We take Cash App, PayPal. Donations are never expected, but always appreciated. I really do. I feel for this dude. I feel for Colby. And while I was doing this live stream, my dog ate my pizza. So let's look at some super chats. Really appreciate you guys. Regardless of what Direct D said about you, you're a great, hardworking man doing the work to protect our rights. Thank you for all you do. Great work. Thank you very much. Lynn says, hi, Josh and Anna. Much love. I'm asking chat war 5 cents too. Maybe she's asking people to match her, or she wants someone to have a conversation with her in the chats. And I can check my messenger. Maybe get some clarification on what she meant. I don't want to do my justice here. She didn't. Okay. Auditing 2. What's up, Auditing 2? Good dude. Met him. And this is how small the community is, guys. Auditing 2 has a small YouTube channel. He is about constitutional rights and First and Second Amendment rights. And I know where he works. So Anna and I thought it would be nice to just show up at his work. So we hid in a Burger King as he was pulling out of his work. And I walked up to the side of the street and I pulled out my camera and I was like, I have every right to film you in public. And he was like, what? Oh, he couldn't believe it. It was like this. It was a great surprise. Good dude. But I can't tell you how many people I've met in this community. Like I said, you guys saved me from the streets. You guys gave me purpose. A decade ago, I was homeless, addicted to drugs. I had nothing. Now I have a home. I have a 12-year-old little girl, 14-year-old. I got a little 1-year-old downstairs walking around, driving me crazy. I got 2 dogs, and I got 249,000 of the best friends ever. This community has done great things for me. Do great things for Colby. Kindness is free. Hold on. Oh, Lynn was asking if you guys could also donate. That's what she confirmed on Messenger. Thank you, Lynn. Fred says, Josh, you're going to love your pizza. It should be out tomorrow sometime. I haven't said it in a long time, but I feel like if somebody saved my life, every time I saw them, I would thank them for saving my life, you know? I can't say 249,000 times. Thank you guys for saving my life. But thank you for saving my life. And thank you for being there for Colby. He should be shown love, not hate. I'll give you updates too about that. I got a vested interest in finding out who did this to him. I was checking the PayPals and the Cash App so I can thank anybody if they did donate before I leave. No. Okay. Moore says, I served and I don't expect unearned respect. Just so you know, because of your service, no respect is unearned. So hold on, we got something coming in. Should I?
Show it to the camera. No, go around.
What are you doing?
Say it out
I
loud.
thought you deserved a candy that was just like you.
You thought I deserved a candy that was just like me?
Yes.
An airhead.
That'd be correct.
That is correct.
That is correct.
You want to say hi to everyone?
So you understand I have the
Hello.
ability to ground you into infinity.
No.
Like, okay, so let's pretend the can't.
Put what if I'm not grounded?
Put one if you're not grounded. No. So when I do all this preaching about zero tyranny and stuff, I still reserve the right to be a tyrant and oppress you.
Hi,
If,
fans.
Hi,
If
fans.
they love our daughter more than
Oh, look at this. Liquor Chick is cancer free.
Yay!
Nice. Congratulations.
Yay,
If
congratulations.
they love our daughter more than they love the airhead in front of you, they should send money to Bananas PayPal. What?
Well, listen, there's a lot of people saying one, but Shane's drone shot says two. He thinks you should be grounded. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Hi, fans.
Get out.
I know you're here for me.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm
Subscribe.
going to shameless plug that PayPal.
Yeah, go.
Love you guys.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Now, I don't know if this is a bribe to keep her from not being grounded. But Kentucky Girl sent a very generous donation. So to her and her husband through PayPal, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. RJ, good friend of mine, says, I've been enjoyed being a very small part of helping to build this community. No grounding the mini banana. That's right. There are no small parts. To be honest with you, RJ, when I say I mean we, auditors, activists, whatever you want to call us. We are the smallest part of this community. We serve the smallest part of this community. Because I always tell people when I started my channel, there was one of me. I had no subscribers, right? And I wasn't aiming for subscribers. I got fucked with by a cop and I filmed it and I wanted to send it to my buddy. And I kept trying to send it through Facebook and it said the video was too long. I had to trim it. I didn't know how to trim it. So he just said, well, you watch YouTube, right? I said, yeah. He goes, it's like a plus button. You hit that, you can upload a video and then I can just go to whatever your name is of your channel, or you could send me a link and I can watch it. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and the rest is history. But there was only one of me. And then the moment I woke up, there were more of me. The second I had 2 subscribers, I became the smallest part of what I did. 249,000 subscribers to me is not the bragging rights. Like, look how many I have. It's a contest. When I was on the street, people didn't even see me. They walked past me, right? Like they couldn't see who I was, much like a fire hydrant. You know that it's there, but you walk past it and you look right through it. For the first time, I had a voice that people listened to. And it gave me great belief in myself when I had little. It gave me great self-worth when I had none. I need help in St. George, Utah, exposing tyrants, Darren. Shoot me an email, theafacrew@gmail.com. theafacrew@gmail.com. And now I have 249,000 people to simply remind me every day that I still have a voice. and people are still listening. And that's the best part of this. You know, going out and having people, my wife's seen it. Like, Christ, I was at Mother's Day dinner with my mother, and someone came over and sat down and wanted to start talking. And that's the reason I stopped you today, Agent right here. Right near is right here. You know, and they sit and they tell me their story. And they tell me how I help them. And it's humbling. And there's people out there who would, you know, their first audit was with me. Like, you got Leroy Truth Investigations, Rest in Peace, Disorderly Product News. Disorderly Product News passed away at 150,000 subscribers. His first video was with me. There are quite a few people whose first videos that are big activists that were either with me or I shared their video. And that is the purpose of this community. Someone gave me a voice. I shared that voice. That person shared their voice. And people are getting helped. And sometimes they're not. We can't save them all. And sometimes you go to bed at night and you dwell on the ones that you couldn't help. Banana Anna, my first cop watch was when you were inside the PD and I was outside and a cop was running my plates. That's true in Boston. And she stood in front of the license plate like a true boss. And that video is on my channel. She owned those piggies. Yeah, First Amendment Protection Agency. I shared his first video. I took him out filming when he had a few, and he's got a couple big, he got some decent numbers out there. Kentucky Girl says, Leroy deserves more subscribers. He's really good at what he does. The Auditor of the Year. You guys didn't know that? Auditor of the Year. Well deserved, Leroy. So from those of you who were subscriber number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 70,000th, 90,000th, 200,000th, thank you. I hope all of you are showing some support, some love for Colby tonight. Land use official at the Townsend Town Hall in Townsend, Massachusetts. And Anna says it was like 2 seconds and I was so scared because I was alone. That's the most beautiful part about this. We're never alone. You know, even if I'm by myself, I know I'm not alone. There's people out there, and those people are you. So I thank every single one of you. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned. This video will be up tomorrow, possibly. Still tweaking a few things and getting some last minute information. Be safe. Keep your camera handy. And enjoy your family and enjoy your freedom and fight for it. Fight for it not because it's yours, but fight for it because you love it. Allie Bell says, what? Cash out for your daughter? Oh, stop it. Oh, Allie Bell sends a $25 cash app for my kid. Gonna have to get her into the workforce. Love every single one of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being the best part of me, because without you, I would not be me. Until next time. Well, I feel like someone said this already in the chat, but that's the reason I stopped you today.